This morning we're joined by Aggie Chambray, political correspondent at LBC, and Katrina Stewart, politics and education correspondent for The Scotsman. So welcome to both of you. Lovely to see you both. And we've got lots to talk about on the front pages, but we're going to kick off with the Sunday Telegraph. And Katrina, you've picked this out because it's got the quite dramatic headline, Rayner plots move against Starmer.
Yes, the headlines this week have been dominated by manoeuvres and machinations in the Labour Party. And according to the Sunday Telegraph, it is Angela Rayner's turn to throw her hat in the ring. It's saying that she is laying the ground for a leadership challenge against Sir Keir Starmer. Now, it's maybe, 6-7 weeks since she was forced to resign as Housing Secretary and Deputy Prime Minister, but she's obviously ready to come back in from the cold, because there's another front page this morning. The Sunday Mirror has an interview with her where she's pictured serving tea to the elderly and saying that she's ready to champion issues in her constituency in Ashton-under-Lyne. So who knows what Angela Rayner is up to? Is she on manoeuvres to take the top job? Is she going to be battling for her constituents? But one thing's for certain, she is definitely ready to be back in the spotlight.
I mean, she could be doing both, shouldn't she? She could be on manoeuvres and also trying to rehabilitate some of her character for people.
Indeed, and they might be the same thing, right? She might genuinely just want to be trying to rehabilitate herself, and she might want to be thinking about the next step. I think the sort of assumption was from people within Westminster was that it was pretty unlikely that she was going to be able to run for leader quickly after her kind of shock resignation because of not paying.
Remind everyone, not paying the right amount of stamp duty.
So she didn't pay £40,000 worth of tax on her Hove flat. And I think the assumption was that was sort of it, at least for a while. And maybe if the contest went long, the contest obviously doesn't exist yet, but maybe if Keir Starmer wasn't challenged until after May, then maybe she would then have a shot. I think the understanding was if it happened sooner rather than later, it might not happen. But after one of the most extraordinary weeks I've ever seen in Westminster, it seems like maybe that contest will happen sooner than anyone thought, and maybe she needs to work a bit quicker if she does indeed want to be leader.
How soon?
How soon could it happen? I mean, people talk... So I spoke to a Labour MP 2 weeks ago who I said, is there going to be a challenge? And he was like, no. No one wants this. It's not going to happen. I spoke to him last week and he said, I still don't think it's a good idea, but it seems like everyone else thinks it's a good idea. And if it's going to happen, then it should happen sooner rather than later. We don't want to lose Scotland. We don't want to lose Wales. And if it happens after May, perhaps we already lose those. Obviously, Keir Starmer and the week we've just seen, they would deny that there is a challenge happening. They don't want it to happen. But I think it could happen after the budget. It could happen after the New Year. It could happen after May. Or it might not happen at all. You do need to get 80 named MPs to actually challenge, and that is a big number.
Is there a way they're talking themselves into it, though? Like, in either way, I think the dissatisfaction with Keir Starmer is pretty clear now, right? And they've got options they would see with Angela Rayner. I mean, let's not forget Andy Burnham a couple of weeks ago at conference was being talked about, and, of course, West Streeting last week as well.
I mean, there have been rumblings for months about a leadership challenge, but they have been very much a sort of background noise, a bit of a buzz. But the past week with the West Streeting situation has really accelerated this. It's brought it so much further into the public eye, and there is so much dissatisfaction now that it's hard to see how Keir Starmer is going to rein all of this back in and bring everybody back together and really sort of cement himself as the permanent leader of the Labour Party.
The budget wasn't already massively important, but it's super duper important now with all these people behind him trying to get him out of a job.
Although I noticed they do say that sources close to Angela Rayner say it's rubbish, but then maybe they would. I don't know. Anyway, all we know is a contest quickly would not be good for Andy Burnham if he genuinely is in the race.
True indeed.
Let's move on to another story that's actually on the front of the Telegraph as well, Aggie, that you've picked out. And this is about the BBC and the pressure that Donald Trump is putting on them this weekend, threatening to sue despite their apologies as early as next week. This article kind of focusing on what Keir Starmer might be able to do.
Indeed, Donald Trump basically saying Keir Starmer's already tried to get hold of him, already wants to speak to him about this, and that he is embarrassed by what has happened. But the Telegraph, Sunday Telegraph, reporting they are expected to speak, and that the Prime Minister is going to say to him standards, including correcting mistakes quickly, are really important, but also going to say the BBC is a strong British institution and has a crucial role to play in an age of disinformation. But basically going to say, look, the BBC needs to get its house in order. And as you say, this happening as the President looking to seek damages as early as next week for between $1 billion and $5 billion. So quite extraordinary stuff. And Trump, on his side, apparently wants to kind of sense check to see what the BBC is going to do to reform. But the call on Trump's side, they say it's going to be friendly because they are mates, they get on well. So that is set to happen in the next few days.
Yeah, it's going to be fascinating to see whether or not Keir Starmer can talk him down, right? If they are friends, as they say they are, it'd be a good test of the Prime Minister, won't it, to see whether that relationship is really true. I mean, he said that he talked him down for the tariffs. So they got them down to lower than at another place. Tariffs remained in place. This will be another test to see whether he can do it.
Absolutely, and this might be one bright spot for Keir Starmer in the run-up to the budget, if he can successfully talk Donald Trump around. I mean, we don't know if he's actually going to pursue such vast sums. He's a capricious man. Who knows what will happen next? But one success that Keir Starmer has had is building this relationship successfully with Trump. While he's had so many domestic issues to tackle, he has done relatively well on the international stage, particularly in finding a way to build up this almost bromance with Donald Trump.
Buddies,
so
yeah.
Hopefully we'll see how that plays out.
Now, Shabana Mahmood is going to be on our screens a lot in the next 24, 48 hours. She's got a big announcement to make on migration. She's done an interview in the Sunday Times, and it's their main story, isn't it, Katrina?
Yes, and this is the sort of language she's using that I think even a few short years ago would have been Conservative language, and Labour would have been pushing back quite strongly against it. She's saying that she is going to end Britain's golden ticket for asylum seekers. And again, it is this narrative that we have where illegal migration and asylum issues are being conflated, when, of course, they are two separate things. But she is saying that they are going to introduce a mechanism whereby it will take 20 years for someone arriving and claiming asylum to have a permanent stay in the UK. And they're modelling these plans on reforms in Denmark. But in Denmark, that is 9 years. So this will be extremely punitive. It will be the longest time in Europe. And this, of course, is a huge issue for the Labour Party. They have to get out in front of perceived issues around illegal migration because it has become such a difficult topic for them. I think this, though, is going to face a lot of pushback. There's also talk about reforming the European Convention on Human Rights, specifically Article 8, which is right to a family life. I don't see how that progresses without massive pushback and further ramifications for the Labour Party.
Yeah, and possible, we've only got 10 seconds, but possible pushback from their own backbenchers, I guess.
Absolutely. I think we can really definitely expect that to happen.
Yeah. OK, well, we're out of time for now.
We are.
Both of you, Katrina and Aggie. Next hour.
Let's do it again. Thank you very much for being with us for now. All right, well, we'll be back in a couple of minutes after the break with the rest of the day's news. Stay with us.
There's always more to the news than a headline. We want